Welcome back. It is the Miller Lite Phoenix Open, the fourth stop on the men's professional beach volleyball tour. The weather is hot, the crowd is big, and they are anxious, getting ready for semifinal action. Tim Hovland, Kent Steffes going up against Pat Powers and AJ Adam Johnson. Keep in mind, last year Adam Johnson played with Steve Timmons. The prize money, $75,000. First place splits almost $16,000. Second, almost $10,000. Third, fourth, and fifth down the line. A good payday for the touring pros.
At this time, we give you the
our first referee
of the 1991
is Jim Leonard.
That's
our referee. And George Carey is our second referee or umpire. There's George Carey. So two good officials. These two teams played earlier in the winner's bracket, double elimination tournament. Hovland and Steffes won that match. So Hovland and Steffes, perhaps the favored team going in. Powers and Adam Johnson as a good look at Kent Steffes, a big guy. He's added some weight, and he'll serve first. Now, interestingly, a very different setup here in Phoenix. You'll notice the grass right behind the court. Players can jump serve off that grass, but they have to go on to the sand to do it. So that is something that's a little problem. Steffes starts off with a float serve. Johnson puts the ball away. This is only the third tournament for Johnson and Powers, and by far their biggest and best finish.
Well, I've been waiting for them to come onto the scene. Adam Johnson has got such good ball control, passing, setting, jump serving, hitting, and Pat Powers, one of the most dominating blockers on the beach, and they've come through today. You just have to wonder how tired they must be, particularly Adam Johnson. There you get a good look at him. 6'3", 185, out of USC, had a couple of great tournaments last year with Steve Timmons.
Going to Hovland early, 3 USC Trojans on the court, Powers, Johnson, and Hovland. Kent Steffes, a Cardinal Bruin. He started at Stanford and then went to UCLA. So Tim Hovland in green, Kent Steffes in orange, Powers in black, Johnson in blue. So the black and blue boys come after it. Powers, and Powers dinks it right into the middle of the net. Now, Powers and Johnson have been playing a lot of games today. They should be a little more fatigued. The start, it may be critical for this team.
Well, they need a short game. Pat Powers needs to get very hot blocking, make very few errors, and surprisingly, they start off going to Powers, and here they go to Adam Johnson.
Johnson gets the kill.
Using all the equipment.
1-0 is our score. Hovland and Steffes lead.
Side out. Pat Powers is back to serve. Makes his home in San Diego, California.
Pat Powers out of Malibu, California. Been a professional for 5 years.
No one.
Steffes into the net. So a couple of hitting errors early, and we're tied at 1.
One here at the Bobby Dome.
When you play in this kind of heat, Chris, you really have to keep your concentration. A lot of players really pace themselves early on. You come out, you don't warm up quite as hard. You don't want to waste your game in warm-ups, and both these teams coming out a little slow.
Tim Hovland, 32 years old, going over Pat Powers, his former teammate at USC, who's 33. 1-1 in our semifinal. Winner of this match, or game if you like, goes on to play St. John Smith and Randy Stokos. Steffes serving.
And over.
Steffes with a dig. Hovland has it. Great set. Back to Steffes. Blocked. Powers.
Say, Tim Hobblin ran all the way back to the green monster, chasing down that dig from Kent Steffes, and then right back to the net. Adam Johnson, there you see the end of the play. Tim Hobblin with a nice diving save, and Pat Powers showing you that he too can slice and dice. Look at this, perfect cut shot. Nobody gets that ball.
Powers been working on that cut shot. We saw him use it earlier in this tournament a lot, as Johnson will come off the grass and jump serve. And he's been missing a lot lately. It's a very difficult move because you're coming off the grass down onto the sand.
It takes a long while to adjust to this. Talk about improving a little bit over the course of last season. Adam really came on.
And nobody.
Powers.
Come on.
Dug by Hovland. And Steffes puts it away. So a good defensive play by Hovland.
Breeze coming up just a little bit, Chris, lowering the temperature. The players like that part, but playing havoc with that last very high set from Adam Johnson. Blew way back off the net for Pat Powers.
2-1 is our score. Hovland and Steffes lead.
And you're on top, cut!
Powers going outside. Are you surprised Hovland and Steffes are serving Powers?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe they're guessing that Pat, rather than Adam Johnson, is the one that's tired. But we were talking to the beach doctor earlier on, Tim Brown, and he said he was keeping his eye on Adam Johnson, was very concerned.
You saw the stats on Pat Powers, a great hitter and blocker. Nice dig by Johnson. And the lift is called on Hovland. It appeared to be a joust. Bob Leonard going to call the lift. He's saying you spiked it. Let's listen.
No, it wasn't on that. It was all the way over and you open-handed it. You were not blocking.
Wait a minute.
You were not blocking, Tim.
What are you talking
That's the
about?
rule. No, you were on the ground, you went up and you open-handed it.
What are you talking about,
It's a
Jim?
lift. It's a lift.
The ball
You were
is
not
on the
blocking.
net. I'm going up to jail.
What's the definition of a block?
You got to be up blocking.
out
You
to
jumped
Powers
and you
and
open-handed
Johnson.
it over. The
What's
ball was
the
over the
definition of a
net.
block?
The ball was over the net.
What was the
You got to
block?
be up blocking. You
Up
got to be
blocking.
up blocking.
What
The
was I
ball-
doing?
The ball was over when you went up and open-handed it, all right? The ball was all the way over.
I was on the net.
No, you were not. The ball was over the net and you open-handed it.
overhand ball.
Let's go, Hob.
The difference being you cannot open hand dink. If you're a blocker, it's different, isn't it, Paul?
Well, if you're blocking, then you're ruled to be jousting. Now, the play's coming right here. Pat Powers reads
Keep
the
it going.
play if we can get a little bit more. And here's Tim. I think that's a good call. I think that's
so,
a good
too.
call. You cannot dink. Direct the ball on the beach as you can indoors, an open hand dink. And Pat Powers in good position to block and Hob with a violation.
Steffes. And Steffes hits a rocket. If you're wondering how you determine that play, if the ball's on your side, you're attacking.
Exactly.
If it's on the other player's side, you're reaching over and blocking.
And if it's 50-50 right up above, you both have the opportunity to do either joust, muscle, push.
Survival of the fittest if it's on top.
We'll see one of those later on today for sure.
No. What do you have, Jordan?
2-1 is our score. Johnson and Powers claiming that was a point. It should be 2-2, we believe. Let's listen once again. We've got the audio.
I served Hovland deep.
Powers served.
Got the ball.
I didn't see
Hovland went over the net. Was good.
Point. 2-up.
It's a point. 2 up.
The correct score is 2-2.
2-2, says Jim Leonard. George Carey sorting it out. In the old days, there was no scorekeeper. The players kept the score, so you can imagine what the arguments were back in those
There were
days.
no refs, umpires, or linesmen.
Now we have 2 linesmen and a referee and an umpire, and there's still questions.
And over. No.
Powers going by Hovland, registering a kill. So far, Powers getting some serves here. He's gotten 4, make that 5 serves. And the Peeper has knocked down 3 kills.
And Adam Johnson only one. Very, very surprising trend.
2-2.
Angle.
Beautiful cut shot by Kent Steffes. Not over in the corner where he would like it, but it was good enough to score it.
Adam Johnson completely to the line side. You can hear Tim Hovland screaming angle, and Kent Steffes with a nice shot to the sideline.
Tim Hobblin will put the ball in play on the 1980 NCAA championship team, along with that man, Pat Powers, one of the great teams in history, as Powers cuts inside. Also on that team, Steve Timmons, John Hedlund, Dusty Dvorak. What a squad that was, upsetting UCLA in Muncie, Indiana to win the NCAA title. Powers, such a great spiker for the United States. Once put down 50 kills in 2 successive matches against Argentina and the Soviet Union. Johnson, chance for a point.
Nice.
Got it. So Adam Johnson and Pat Powers, after getting behind 2-1, interesting play, the throw call on Tim Hovland. And at the break, we'll take the turn. Powers and Johnson ahead by 1. 22 minutes and 18 seconds, and baby, it is sizzling in the oven here in Phoenix. 5-5 is our score. Adam Johnson, Pat Powers, 2 former Trojans playing Kent Steffes and Tim Hovland. Winner plays St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos. Steffes, cut shot right into Hovland.
Tell you, Pat Powers is intimidating right now. He's blocked Kent Steffes once. And since Adam Johnson and Pat Powers were behind, they've been going more and more to Kent Steffes. Tim Hovland, 12, Steffes 6, going to Pat Powers early are Hovland and Steffes.
Johnson trying to crank up his jumper. Great set. And Hovland drills it. Perfect set by Kent Steffes.
Pat Powers deciding early that that ball was not going to be set anywhere near the net, but he forgot to tell Kent Steffes. Just perfect.
Tim Hovland will serve. Lives now in Playa del Rey, California. His wife and baby here today watching. They came out, Pam and Tara. Powers dink. Got it. So Pat Powers, who very rarely dinked when he was on the USA Olympic team.
He thought it was unmanly.
Yes, a number of great Pat Powers stories. Pat, one of the renowned sleepers in volleyball history. Comes to taking naps. He aced it. No, it touched the net. He caught the net coming inside. And the side out. Going to Steffes and Hovland. And Steffes goes into the net. So both teams laboring just a bit at the moment.
Kent seemed to have lost it a little bit over the last 8 or 10 minutes. Not serving well, getting blocked a couple of times, the hitting error into the net.
Johnson. Good strong serve. And Hovland drills it. If you're wondering how hot the sand can get, probably up to about 120 degrees, but they have watered the court numerous times. We saw it in our opening shot.
Tim Hovland with a good pass off Adam Johnson's jump serve, and Kent Steffes setting the ball much better with a lot more confidence this year than past seasons.
Powers doing a pretty good job setting also, isn't he?
I think Adam Johnson and Pat Powers' ball control very, very good right now. The question mark is Pat Powers setting and passing, and he's been playing well.
Powers, who missed his jump serve just a moment ago, goes with a floater. And Steffes will attack. Fake block. And down the line goes Steffes.
Really hard to appreciate that shot, but a great turn down the line on another set about 7 or 8 feet off the net.
Steffes with his 6th kill. And play continues. From 1989 to 1990, what a big difference. That's what happens. In '89, he won his first professional tournament. Then in 1990, last year, he really blossomed. Winning, I believe it was 6 tournaments.
Yeah. Going to Adam Johnson again. There you see Tim Hobblin signaling where he wants his partner Kent Steffes to go. And I thought this was big trouble, but Adam Johnson again pulling out the great shots to get it past the block.
Ace for Adam Johnson. Now the score moves to 7-5. Johnson and Powers. The winner of this match plays Smith-Stoklos.
Steffes and Hovland, have you noticed, Chris, very quiet, uncharacteristically playing very slowly.
Well, when it gets hot, you can't really talk a lot.
Well, I'd want to
yell a lot.
Yeah, I'd want to put it right in the garage.
Hovland, chance for a point. Powers.
Dink shot.
So Pat Powers, known for the strength and the power, using finesse off the net.
Pat Powers getting a little older and just getting a lot smarter, slicing and dicing. And Adam Johnson concerned about him early because of the heat. But he is just roasting up some jump serves. Not a great set. This ball's 7, 8 feet off the net. But Pat just dialing up a great little off-speed shot.
Timeout going to Tim Hovland.
This weekend's event's being televised by Prime Ticket, the largest regional sports network in the world. Join Chris
Since 1989, Smith and Stoklos, 23 wins. Hovland and Dodd, 10. And then right down the line, Fry and Frohoff. So those have been the big 3. Cry and Steffes got a couple. Hovland and Steffes got a couple. Can you name those 5 other teams that have won?
Andrew Smith, Dan Verbalovich.
Right. And certainly John Stevenson and Kent
Steffes.
And yes, it is hot. Earlier, before this match, Tim Hovland was back behind the scoreboard, just pouring. He took 3 bottles of Evian water.
That's where all the
and
Evian
just dumped
went.
it on his head. And of course, that is the beach doctor, Dr. Tim Brown. He looks like a beach doctor, doesn't he? He's there to treat anybody who has anything wrong, but especially heat, prostration, and cramps.
Really become an expert in dehydration.
Yeah.
If he had to go back to school and get another doctorate, it'd be with athletes in the blazing sun.
On-the-job training. And yes, the sunscreen number 32 is out. As a huge crowd on hand here. It is really filled up at the Gateway Park. It is packed in. Holiday. It feels like a holiday, doesn't it, Paul?
It's one of the, I think, one of the biggest crowds, certainly in the first 3 or 4 events this summer. And we got here at the crack of dawn this morning, and it was only about 85 at 8 o'clock this morning.
It was a dogfight getting to the platform today. 8-5 is our score. Powers and Johnson have the lead. Boy, Johnson's hitting that jump serve hard.
Nobody, right on.
Powers. Will he dink again?
I don't think so.
Steffes with a dig. Cut! Got it! Nice shot.
Mark that one down. A big opportunity for Pat Powers. He really doesn't unload as he usually would cross court. And Kent Steffes and Tim Hobblin with some very nice ball control here.
Both teams winging up the little dink shot.
20-second timeout, Powers, Johnson.
20-second timeout. I believe that's the third 20-second timeout.
Thank you.
Some pro beach volleyball history. Back in 1982, the first tournament in Florida. And the groundwork laid for the formation of the AVP, which is the Beach Volleyball Union. Of course, the big money starting to come in when Miller Lite decided that it wanted to get in on beach volleyball, and certainly that has been the answer. Cut shot into the net. So Powers and Johnson.
Very streaky game. Hovland and Steffes play well for a little while, and now Adam Johnson and Pat Powers come off a good string and are really inconsistent right now.
Well, Powers is huffing and puffing hard on the right side. Now, keep in mind, he recently just came back from Yugoslavia, where he broke his hand, so he has not played that much on the beach. Steffes got it. Powers. And Pat Powers puts it away for keeps. The question for Kent Steffes on that play, to dive or not to dive into the grass.
As it's going uphill, as it's coming up to meet you. No block this time. Watch Kent Steffes. All out, giving it the extra effort.
And a little timber on the grass in the back court. 8-6. Powers and Johnson by a couple.
Nobody, right on the net.
Hovland chopping inside, perhaps a dig that Adam Johnson should have made. He's a great defensive player.
And I think Pat Powers is tired. Otherwise, he'd be up there blocking on all of those plays. He's deciding real early that he'd rather come back, play a little defense, and hopefully get lucky with a dig.
Steffes.
But they're live.
Steffes with a dig. Score! Steffes perhaps looking the freshest of all four players, Paul. So Hovland and Steffes coming back just a bit. 8-7 at the turn. Action a little later in our semifinal match. As Pat Powers and his partner Adam Johnson, playing together for the third time this year, are tied with Tim Hovland and Kent Steffes, 15 apiece. And what a battle it has been. The wind gusting cross court now, and Steffes will jump serve. Oh, he got it!
Husband and wife for the lead, 16-15. Right up the middle. Third ace for Kent Steffes.
Communication here.
Coming right at you, up the middle. There you see, no communication. Pat Powers, Adam Johnson, face to face.
Steffes for the game.
That's it.
Powers rocket hard. Pat Powers, his right arm has a nickname. He calls it the club. He takes it around with him. Yeah, I've got the club with me.
He used to tell me when he was going to break it out. It would be in the middle of a match. He said, Paul, I'm going to break out the club.
Ever seen an arm like this, Chris? No, I haven't, Pat. Never. 16-15, Hovland and Steffes. Good jump serve. Steffes right to Powers. He missed it.
Okay, well, Pat Powers, more affectionately known as the Peeper, has done some things with that club that no one has ever done before.
So, Timmy Hov approaching an hour 30. Time ticking away on the freestyle laps timer. Hour and 23 hot minutes. This could be it.
Here we go, Hov.
Hov has it. He's on his offside. Oh, over the net to Johnson.
They're line.
Steffes looking for the game. No, yes, that's it. The fans love the Hov. Hovland for president. But now, what can Hovland and Steffes do against St. John and Randy? We're coming back. The Miller Lite Phoenix Open continues our final. Hovland and Steffes, Smith still close again. We'll be back. By with the winners.